welcome to A Game for Your Thoughts. Today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball FighterZ. So Dragon Ball FighterZ came out in January 2018. It is a fighting game based around the Dragon Ball universe. And this isn't the first time there was a Dragon Ball fighting game, and I guarantee it won't be the last. But this one's easily the best one so far. Best Dragon Ball game in general. This one was really, really well done. Just because it's a fighting game doesn't mean it's a bad game. It is actually a very elementary fighting game. It's really, really simple, really basic. So this game has a story mode, and I usually like to talk about the story first, so we'll start there with the story. The story mode was really, really well done. It takes place around the time of the Dragon Ball Super series, and it follows our characters, your Dragon Ball characters, Goku, Piccolo, Bulma, all those great guys, as they try to fight against Android 21 and her evil army of clones. Stories in a fighting game are kind of confusing because sometimes they can either be super terrible and completely not necessary, or they can be the best thing ever and super, super welcome into the game. And this was one of those really welcoming experiences. I really loved the story in this game. It was a lot of fun to go through and play and do, because it kind of plays different than the rest of the game, and I'll get to that in a second. But the story itself was really, really well done. I thought they did a great job of going through the story and including a bunch of different characters that I was glad to see make comebacks or returns to the story and kind of see the interactions between the different characters. But if you noticed earlier, I said something about a character named Android 21, and if you're familiar with the series, you probably don't recognize that game, or if you haven't played this game, if you play this game and you're familiar with it. But the character Android 21, she's a brand new character created by series creator Akira Toriyama, and he came into the game and completely made this brand new character for the game, and I would love to see her in future things. She was really, really well done. Go on to the gameplay. The gameplay was really, really awesome. I had a lot of fun with it. I mean, it's a fighting game, so obviously there's fighting mechanics, but I'll get to those in a second. So how this game works is it drops you into this lobby area, and you have a bunch of different kind of branching pathways, and you have your cute little bobblehead character of any favorite Dragon Ball character you choose, and you can walk around this little lobby and go to the different spots, and each spot has a different gameplay. So there's a spot for story mode, spot for local play, arcade, training, online plays. These are like a cute little shop where you can spend your in-game zenny to buy capsules and unlock new little bobblehead characters, skins. So the fighting itself, it was actually really, really basic. So you have a heavy hit, a medium hit, a light hit, and then a Kai attack. And these cover the 4 face buttons on the controller, and you can use them in any variation you want. You can either hit the same button a bunch of times and get a cool combo going, or you can hit a bunch of different buttons at the same time and get a cooler combo going. And all the meanwhile, your character's letting off recognizable moves from the series and famous lines and taunts. And it was really enjoyable, and it was really fun to look at and watch what was happening, and it was really easy to get the hang of. It was easily one of the best fighting mechanics I could think of because it was just so easy to pick up and play. It reminds me of Super Smash Brothers, how that one is so easy to just pick up and go for it. This one's in that same idea. So the story mode, this one plays a little bit differently because instead of just going from like a Mortal Kombat thing where there's like a cutscene and then a fight and then a cutscene and then a fight, this one's a little different. There's like a cutscene and then a fight, and then it introduces you to like a board, and on this board there's different spaces, and each space has a different fight. And you use your turns to go across the board and defeat enemies and level up your characters and also gain new characters to bring into your team to help get the characters you want, or to add some variety to the conversations and the cutscenes that occur between fights. Then at the end of each board there's a boss, and you fight that boss. Once you fight the boss, you go on to the next board and continue the story. I thought this was a great idea. It was a lot of fun and something really unique for me. I'd never seen anything like it, and I had a fun time going across the board and defeating all the different characters and building up my levels and unlocking cool new abilities that helped me with the later fights that were a little bit more difficult. So there's an arcade mode in the game, and how it works is you have like a branching tower, and if you win a fight you move up the tower. If you lose a fight you go down the tower, and at the end of the tower you of course want to be at the highest point, and that's where you're going to get the most points and the most in-game currency you go spend in the shop. I thought this was a great time. I had a lot of fun with it, and it got really, really challenging real quick, which made it more enjoyable because then I wanted to become better so then I could fight the more difficult towers. And I would recommend checking that out at the arcade mode. It was a lot of fun. Then the local fights, of course, is your basic. You pick a group of characters and your friend picks a group of characters, and you two just battle it out and see who the best is. You can also set up tournaments, and you can do it that way. It's a really great time. I would recommend, grabbing a bunch of friends and getting together and play this because, like I said, it's so easy to pick up and play that this would be a great party experience. The character selection is really fun too because you can do one-on-one fights or you can do 3v3 fights, and that was a really great time to make up your group of characters that could be completely different. My personal choices, I always did Vegeta, Goku, and Vegito because those were my 3 favorites. And you put them together, and then you do your other groups of characters, and you fight it out. And it was a really great time. Graphically, this game was really, really impressive. It has a different kind of art style. It's a little bit more cartoony, And I wouldn't say it's cel shaded, but it's kind of got that really cartoon look to it, which I really, really like. The backgrounds that you're fighting in, they were really, really well done too. They were really bright and colorful and had a lot going on, and it was really great because as the fight continued, more and more destruction happened. Trees would fall in the background, buildings would blow up, and I'd even use a Kamehameha on the ground, and it would just tear up the ground in front of it as it goes to your opponent. And that was really cool to see that. I liked to see the destruction. It made the fights more enjoyable and a lot more fun to watch. The character models in the game are just as you remember them from the shows. I really love seeing Vegeta and Goku and all their other friends and counterparts, just exactly how I remember them. Technically wise, this game runs really, really well. I never had any crashes or freezes, but occasionally there would be some slight frame drops if you had a lot going on the screen, but that very rarely happened. That was a very rare occurrence when that much was going on that it would have to slow down like that. And then another thing I did notice that while the loading screen was going on, you could definitely tell it was loading as the screen would have some like flashy animations going, but then it would stop and the music would keep going. And that was kind of just a minor inconvenience, but it was something that you easily noticed. Another thing that's really noticeable about this game is when you first started up, the spoken language is Japanese. You can change that to English, but as you watch cutscenes and different things play out, you can notice that the audio-visual doesn't really link up because obviously there's a language change. So like Vegeta would talk and he'd be like, "I'm going to take you down." And so it's just kind of silly things like that. But it was easy to notice, but something easily overlooked because it is a dub of a Japanese game. Oh my gosh, the music though in this game, I gotta talk about the music. The music in this game was so cool. I would love to just sit in the menus for a minute and just listen to the music because it was such an awesome heavy metal sounding. It brought me back to Doom 2016 where it was just something that just got you really pumped. You were ready to go. I loved it. Especially the loading screen before a fight, it would be like, "Get ready to fight," and it'd be like, "Doo doo 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 doo." It was super awesome, and I got super pumped. So I'd recommend even going and checking out just the soundtrack because it was so fun and awesome. I mean, people who played the game, you know what I'm talking about. In the end, I really loved this game. It was such a great time, and it was such an easy game to pick up and play. I mean, even a kid could play it. I mean, it's not a particularly violent fighting game. And it was just so easy to pick up and go that it would be easy to play for a kid. The game had a great selection of characters. The roster was full of a Dragon Ball Hall of Fame. There are downloadable characters, which they are a tad bit overpriced. I managed to get the FigtherZ pass on sale, so that made things a little bit more reasonable. And I got a bunch of the DLC characters for a fair price. And it's not going to ruin your experience if you don't get them. These are just fun additional characters that are, they're going to enhance the experience by getting more characters to play as. But it's not going to completely ruin it if you don't bother to buy them. The story was really fun and enjoyable. I loved the board game style of it. The arcade mode, that was really fun too. I loved the tower. It was fun to try to challenge myself to become better so that I could work my way up those towers and get to the top. Overall, I would highly recommend this game. Even if you're a little bit curious or if you're new to the fighting genre, this is a great place to start. Like I said, it's a very elementary game. It is so easy to pick up and get the hang of real quick. It's easy at first and it's hard to master. But for fans for the Dragon Ball series, this is a must-own. I would highly recommend it to Dragon Ball fans because you're going to catch and love all these characters because you're familiar with them and you really enjoy the lore and the characters. So yes, absolutely recommend it. Pick it up if you're a fan of the series. That's my review for Dragon Ball FighterZ. Yet again, really recommend it. Thank you again for everybody for checking out all my content. I really appreciate it. I love all the positive feedback I'm getting. Things are slowly growing and I love that. That's great. Thank you so much. As always, hit the subscribe button, the like button, and leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. I really appreciate that, and it helps things continue to grow. I can keep doing this for you. So one more time, thank you again. Don't forget to check out my Instagram where you can check up all the cool stuff I'm up to and whenever I come out with new content. And head over to my website. You can check out all my other reviews that I have written reviews for, that I'm still putting together videos for, the ones that I haven't gotten to yet. But yeah, really great content over there. So head over and check that out. It's gameforyourthoughts.com. There's lots of great stuff over there to check out. So one more time, thank you again. Really appreciate everybody's support and all the positive feedback. I'm going to continue to do this for you because I'm having such a great time. So thank you again, and we'll catch you next time on A Game for Your Thoughts. See ya.